that you will see the reason for it. The screening committee, after 1993, when Coal Mines Nationalization Act was passed, being a committee that was chaired by the Coal Secretary, and the Coal Ministry had the power of making allotments at that point of time in terms of the law at that time, said we will receive the applications. The screening committee in the first instance became the authority to receive the applications or requests for allotment. All these applications, after they were received, were transmitted to the concerned state governments with a request that the state governments may again forward them to the screening committee with their comments and recommendations, if any. The state governments would then make the recommendations. These recommendations would then again be placed before the screening committee. The screening committee had representatives of all the line ministries, and by that I mean the ministries of coal, steel and cement, essentially, the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, as well as representatives of the state government at the level of the Chief Secretary of the Secretary of the Department. This very extensive committee then invited presentations.
Mr. Minister.
These presentations were given by potential applicants, and then after considering the totality of the case, allotments were made.
Mr. Kumar, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
The process was elaborate, transparent.
Mr. Kumar, I will repeat my point tonight. My point is very simple, and on facts you cannot fault me on this. The process went something like this. The Coal Ministry would issue an advertisement that coal blocks were available for captive use. Companies that were planning to increase capacity in existing power, steel or cement plants or were planning a new plant were eligible to apply. An applicant had to submit all their annual reports for the last 3 years. Once the center had the applications, it would send this to the respective central user, which is power, steel or for that matter cement, to verify the applicant's credentials or how deserving it was of a coal block, whether it had the ability to develop it. It also asked the state government in which the block was located for its view on who should get it. This is an elaborate vetting process. Now, the screening committee, Mr. Minister, was supposed to come in and tell me right or wrong. At the final decision stage, what I am pointing out to you is that on one mysterious day, on the 11th of November 2004, the screening committee meets and decides that it is both the body receiving applications and the body making the final adjudication. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, you accept the minister's explanation of why this was done. Let's get a response and come back to you.
I'm sorry, I've not completed. No. What's unusual about it?
Why was the vetting process
Please do
changed?
not forget. One moment. Now, one moment. It's neither here nor there. I am saying that the Coal Secretary, who presides over the Department of Coal, which according to you should have vetted the process, also presides over the screening committee. Except the difference is that the screening committee is much wider, much more elaborate, much more dispersed, so that the decision of any
your law is unchanged.
Of an arbitrary decision.
Your law is unchanged. No, 1 second. Mr. Ashwini Kumar.
To do with the law.
Mr. Ashwini Kumar, the logic is very simple. You realize, and your Prime Minister himself says, my law is flawed, I need to change the law, and he's undergoing the process of changing of the law. In that process, when the law is potentially flawed and it is being changed, it is only logical to presume that the process of vetting in the absence of the law being changed should be even more stringent than anything else. It is not the time and place then to be diluting the process of vetting. You should make the process of vetting more stringent. The papers I have with me tonight show me that you diluted the process of vetting.
Sorry, you are wrong.
You shortened the process of vetting.
You are absolutely wrong. You are so fundamentally wrong, Arnav, that I'm not surprised
why it's on the papers.
Why the debate is going haywire.
I can read more out.
I'm sorry. No, I don't dispute the paper. I don't dispute
then if the papers are not wrong, then where is the flaw?
The inference is wrong. The conclusion is wrong.
The conclusion is objective.
The reason why the matter went to the screening committee was, I'm sorry, please allow me to have my say. The more widespread or dispersed the committee is, the more widely representative the screening committee is, the possibility of an arbitrary exercise of power or a flawed decision-making or a flawed assessment of the situation is curtailed. That's the reason
so you're
why
saying
this committee was entrusted with the task.
Well,
so your conclusion is completely wrong.
I disagree with your
And
assessment, but you have your right to have it. But let Mr. Ravi Shankar, he raised his hand twice.
Yeah.
He raised his hand twice.
No, but let me answer Ravi Shankar. Let me answer Ravi Shankar when he said that why did we take so long? I have yet to answer Ravi. Ravi said, why did we take so long because there were conflicting opinions? We could have done it more quickly. Now, Ravi himself has been a law minister. Ravi knows that when law ministry gives 3 different sets of opinion, it is not so easy. We are not ruling by fiat. We are ruling on the basis of certain systems, procedures that may be outdated, that may lead to delay.
You have made your point on
transparency and decision making.
You have made your point.
We wanted to stick to what was proper.
But I want that response to changing the mechanism of vetting at a time when the law is, and it all happened so suddenly on one particular day, so quickly after you took power in 2004. That it will raise some questions. Mr. Prasad has the right to respond. He raised his hand and he's now responding to you. Go ahead.
For the information of my very esteemed friend Ashwini Kumar, when I was the law minister on the urgent issue, the opinion was available in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week. That is how a law ministry is supposed to do. Not unlike the 2G and others, you keep on delaying the matter. Now, I am on a more fundamental issue. Screening committee point, you have raised a very valid point. Why this sudden change? But please don't lose sight of one fundamental fact, namely, the screening committee recommendations are recommendations. They become final only when the coal minister puts his signature on the file. And the case in question, the Prime Minister was the coal minister for a good part of 5 years we are talking about. Others are Minister of State. Now Mr. Sri Prakash Jaiswal is the independent charge. Mr. Santosh Bagrodia, Mr. Daswin Narayan Rao, all of Congress were MOS, not of independent charge. Therefore, all these allocations of screening committee could have become final operation only and only when, as the coal minister, the Prime Minister would have said, okay, go ahead. Don't lose sight of that fact. Secondly, you may recall, even in Commonwealth and in 2G, we had large body of consultative process. What happened thereafter, let us not go into that. But the CAG report at page 22 has given specific instances as to how in the screening committee there is no whisper of comparative assessment of 2 claimants. There have been cases where 2 MET presentations, 8 were allocated.
That's the point.
2 MET presentations, 8 were allocated.
Okay.
And the last point which again I would like to highlight, and this Ashwini needs to clarify. When 70 coal blocks have not come into operation, when the law change was going to be implemented, when the cabinet note has been finalized, when the law has been introduced, what was the hurry to allot 145 blocks in 3 years?
Now,
none of whom have come into production. That crucial question is required to be answered. The government has got no answer at all.
I have a further question. I'm sure the minister wants to respond to you, but I want to get the debate more and more specific because I have committed to the viewers of Times Now that the truth is in the details. We'll get more detailed. Now, Mr. Minister, if I can draw your attention. Now, you can say that I have not seen the screening committee papers, but I can assure you I have got my hands on it 4 hours back. We put it on air 3 hours back, and I can assure you they are good as gold. They're completely true and honest. And if you seek the information...
And only you could have read 1,000 pages in 2 hours. Only you could have read the 1,000 pages in 2 hours.
Mr. Minister, may I please humbly point out to you that we have been working on it for a long time. It has been put on air 4 hours back. I have gleaned out the specific pages here, and I'm willing to go fact by fact and sentence by sentence with you. Now, the question here is, Mr. Minister, there is another remarkable thing which happens. And I'll put up the specific
There are
page.
3 points made by Ravi.
No. But before you go to Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, one second. I'll let you respond to Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. There is a new revelation which comes out that this screening committee process was remarkable because companies, now here's another page, there's a list of companies, sir. Those who turned up for the screening committee meeting is on top, and those who did not turn up for the screening committee meeting is below that.